If you want to know the exact moment, Alana Brooks realized her job didn't value her. It wasn't when they skipped her for a promotion. It wasn't when her boss claimed her work as his own. It wasn't even when she stayed until midnight, finishing a proposal he'd present at dawn. It happened on a Tuesday morning in the conference room she practically lived in. The team gathered around the long glass table, fresh suits, burnt coffee, forced smiles, waiting for the announcement of the new strategic operations lead. Alana's heart thudded with a quiet, cautious hope. Her hands were still ink-stained from editing the proposal that saved their last quarter. She'd carried deadlines like luggage. She'd poured herself into this place until she had nothing left at home but takeout containers and a dying plant she kept forgetting to water. Her boss, Mr. Dawson, walked in with his tailored confidence, straightened his tie, and tapped the paper in his hand. This year's promotion goes to... Alana didn't breathe, didn't blink. Chris Johnson, congratulations. A man who'd been there 8 months, a man whose biggest achievement was showing up on time twice in a row, a man who once asked her how to send a PDF. The room clapped, Chris blushed, Mr. Dawson shook his hand proudly. And Alana sat so still she wasn't sure she existed. Her name wasn't on the list, not even as a runner-up, not even as a footnote. After the meeting, Dawson walked past her desk without stopping. No. Are you okay? No, let's talk about next steps, not even good morning. Just a nod so small it could have been a neck twitch. But the email came hours later, the same corporate tone she'd learned to hate. Alana, you're invaluable in your current support role. We trust you'll continue performing at your level, Dawson. Her level, support, invaluable but not valuable. She read it twice, 3 times, until the words blurred and her chest tightened. She wasn't overlooked, she had been placed, assigned, kept where she was most beneficial to him. A tool, not a talent. She closed the email, leaned back in her chair, and finally understood something she had been too loyal to see. They weren't going to promote her. They were going to use her, until she forgot she deserved more. And that was the night the fire lit in her. She pushed away from her desk and whispered to herself, I'm not climbing their ladder anymore, I'm building my own. And that decision, the quiet one no one saw, would turn the woman they ignored into the competition they feared. For the next week, Alana moved through the office like a ghost who had finally realized she could walk through walls. She still answered emails, still built spreadsheets, still cleaned up every sloppy mistake her team made without realizing. She was the only reason they still had jobs. But inside, she was done. Not loud, dramatic done, not flip the desk and walk out done, no. This was the quiet kind. The strategic kind, the kind where every task became evidence she was overdue for a life she hadn't allowed herself to imagine. It started with a notebook, a plain black one she bought from the dollar store on her lunch break. She sat in her car, engine off, windows cracked, and wrote 2 words on the first page in neat block letters. Exit strategy. She stared at them, at how small they looked on the page compared to how big they felt in her chest. Then she wrote the truth she'd been swallowing for years. I can do what Dawson does. I can do it better. Next page. What I know. How to run a team, how to manage chaos, how to turn 3 conflicting deadlines into 1 seamless deliverable, how to communicate, delegate, negotiate, how to make $1 million clients feel safe. She paused. Why am I doing this for a man who doesn't even know my favorite color? She whispered. The next page is filled quickly. What I need. Laptop, portfolio, client list, business license, website, confidence, courage, silence, lots of silence. Because real elevation grows best when nobody knows you planted the seed. That entire week, Alana did something she had never done before. She worked on herself. She signed up for webinars during her lunch breaks, listened to business podcasts on her morning drive, watched tutorials at night. Instead of reruns that numbed her brain, she built a portfolio of her accomplishments, all the systems she created, all the campaigns she saved, all the fires she put out that her boss took credit for. And then she made the most dangerous decision a loyal woman can make. She started telling the truth. to herself, about herself. I'm not a support role. I'm the engine, the structure, the strategist, the reason things work. Each night she stayed up late, finger hovering over her laptop as she drafted the outline for the business she would one day run, Brooks Consulting and Strategy, her name, not Dawson's. She whispered it into the darkness, tested the weight of it on her tongue, felt the way it settled in her spirit. The next day at work, she walked through the lobby and realized something strange. She wasn't intimidated anymore, not by the glass walls, not by the senior partners who walked like they invented oxygen, not by Dawson's clipped voice calling for yet another task. Because once you decide to leave a place, its power dissolves. Dawson called her into his office that afternoon. "Alana," he said without looking up, "I need you to stay late tonight. Johnson is behind on the quarterly brief and I need you to fix it." She paused in the doorway. Something unthinkable bloomed in her chest. No, she said, it wasn't loud, but it was earthquake-level powerful. Dawson's head lifted slowly, his eyebrows knit together like he couldn't process the word no coming from someone he'd always seen as convenient. "No," he repeated. "That's correct," she said calmly. "Johnson is the one who got promoted. Let him lead." Dawson leaned back in his leather chair, offended, confused, borderline insulted. "Alana, I think you're forgetting your role here." She smiled. A small, dangerous smile. "Oh, I remember it perfectly," she said. "That's why I'm choosing differently." She stepped out before he could answer, her heart pounding, her hands shaking, but her soul stood tall. That night, she sat at her kitchen table with her laptop glowing like a promise and whispered, "I'm not waiting for recognition, I'm building my replacement." And once a woman starts planning her exit, everything shifts. Her posture, her patience, her potential. The next phase of her life was already on its way, and soon Dawson would realize the woman he never noticed was about to become the competition he feared. The shift didn't happen in an explosion. It didn't come with yelling, slam doors, or a dramatic exit. No. The day Alana Brooks decided to leave Dawson & Co. was quiet. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that happens when a woman is done being underestimated. It began with his meeting. A huge client presentation. The kind that brought in bonuses, promotions, and glossy praise from leadership. She'd built every slide, every chart, every forecast. She'd stayed up past midnight all week, perfecting the strategy he'd take credit for. Her name wasn't on the deck, but her work was in every pixel. She walked into the conference room with her notebook, pen, and a spark of hope she kept tucked inside like a fragile flame. Maybe today he'd acknowledge her. Maybe today he'd say, "Alana created this. Alana led this." But as soon as Dawson strode into the room, her hope dimmed. He didn't look at her, didn't nod, didn't say good job, even though she'd done the job of 5 people. The partners sat down. The clients joined via video, and Dawson began. "I developed a strategy that will." That one letter, crushed a week of her life. Slide after slide, he repeated, my projections, my recommendation, my plan. He never glanced in her direction, not once. And every time a partner praised him, he smiled like a man who believed. He built the entire world with his bare hands. When the contract was signed, he shook everyone's hand. The partners, the assistants, the interns, everyone but her. She stood there, the ghost in the machine, watching the man who built his career on her silent labor. That was the moment. Something in her snapped so quietly she almost missed it. A string inside her broke, but not in pain, in release. Later, she knocked on his office door. "Can we talk for a second?" she asked. He barely looked up. "Make it quick." She stepped inside, steady but soft. "I created the strategy for this morning's presentation," she said. "I would have appreciated being acknowledged." He sighed, the sigh of a man inconvenienced by someone else's humanity. "Alana," he said, "you're overreacting." She blinked. "Overreacting. Your support staff," he continued. "You do the back-end work. You don't need public credit for everything." Everything she ever did, everything he stole, every piece of brilliance he hid under his own shadow. She exhaled, long and slow. "I'm not support," she said quietly. "I'm strategy, you know it. And so do they." He laughed, dismissive, sharp, edged with arrogance. "You're not a strategist," he said. "Don't get ahead of yourself. You're good at organizing, not leading." Those words, she felt them in every place she had ever doubted herself, but instead of shrinking, she rose, she straightened her posture, closed her notebook, and looked him dead in the eyes. "Then you won't have to worry about me leading anything here," she said. "I'm giving you my notice." His pen froze mid-stroke. "Wait, what?" "I'm leaving," she repeated calmly. "My last day is in 2 weeks. Please sign this so HR can process it." He scoffed, leaning back. "You're being impulsive. We're entering a busy season." "I know," she said. "And I hope you have support lined up, because I won't be here." "You're not ready to leave," he snapped. "You still need mentorship, guidance, direction." She smiled, a slow, confident smile he'd never seen from her. "No," she said, "what I need is respect, and I won't find it here." She placed the notice on his desk when he refused to touch it. She signed it herself right at the bottom. Standing, she added, "And for what it's worth, you didn't lose a support staff member today. You lost the person who kept this place from falling apart." She walked out, with her head full of her mug, her framed photo of her mother, and the parts of herself she'd been burying for years. Her coworkers hugged her. Some cried. One whispered, "You deserved more here." And she had. She absolutely had. When the elevator doors closed behind her, her breath left her in a shaky rush, not fear. Freedom. She whispered to herself, "I'm not staying where I'm unnoticed." And she never looked back. 3 months later, everything in her life had shifted. A soft, sunlit living room office, clients who valued her, money that stretched instead of snapping, peace that stayed. She wasn't rushing through lunches, wasn't answering emails at midnight, wasn't apologizing for existing. She was building, planting seeds, signing clients, growing quietly, like roots under soil. And then, on a warm Tuesday morning with her coffee steaming beside her, her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost ignored it, but her intuition nudged her. She answered. "Hello?" A pause. "Alana." Her voice didn't shake, her heart didn't drop. She stayed exactly who she'd become. "This is Alana," she said. "Listeners help you." When she hung up the phone, Alana didn't move for a moment. She sat there, the sunlight warming her cheek, the quiet hum of her diffuser filling the room, and let the reality settle. Her former boss, the man who didn't think she was strategist material, had just called her for help. Not a favor, not advice, not "could you talk me through something real quick?" He wanted to hire her, officially, professionally, directly. But she didn't rush to respond. She took her time, finished her coffee, finished answering 2 client messages, finished a piece of the workflow she'd been designing. Because gone were the days she would drop everything for someone who didn't value her. By late afternoon, she sent a simple follow-up email. "I'm available to meet Thursday at 11 a.m. Let's discuss scope, access, and compensation." Short, direct. No apologies, no eagerness. She wasn't auditioning. She was evaluating. Thursday arrived warm and bright. She knew exactly how she wanted to walk into that meeting. Not overdressed, not underdressed, not trying to impress him, but honoring the woman she'd become. She chose a tailored camel trench coat, a cream silk blouse, black fitted slacks, and soft gold jewelry that caught the light. Every time she moved, her hair was pinned in a sleek, low twist, her makeup soft but precise. She looked like confidence, like competence, like someone who carries the pen that writes her own future. When she walked into the upscale cafe with floor-to-ceiling windows and gold accents along the bar, heads turned. But she didn't notice them. She saw him. Dawson sat at a corner table, tapping his pen against a notebook, eyes darting every few seconds to the entrance, waiting for her. He stood when she approached, a small, reflexive gesture he'd never offered her before. "Alana, wow, you look." She sat before he could finish. "Thank you, let's get started." He blinked at her tone, caught off guard. There was no softness, no lingering approval seeking, no familiar deference, just professionalism wrapped in power. They opened their notebooks. He began rambling about company struggles, missed deadlines, client complaints, a system that used to run itself. She let him talk, let him reveal the weaknesses he'd once accused her of having. When he finally stopped, she adjusted her glasses and asked the same question he used to ask her. "And why do you think that happened?" His throat tightened. "I suppose we underestimated how much you handled." "Handled implies chaos," she replied calmly. "I didn't handle chaos, I prevented it." He swallowed. It was the first time he'd ever had to sit across from her and confront the truth. She wasn't background, she was backbone, and now she was a business. She flipped open her portfolio, the leather soft and premium, the pages crisp and organized. "These are my consulting terms," she said, "rates, deliverables, access requirements." His eyes widened slightly. "You came prepared." She met his gaze directly. "I don't show up unprepared, not anymore." He leaned forward, lowering his voice. "Alana, I want to be transparent. Since you left, it's been difficult for the team, for me. I didn't realize how much you did." She didn't soften, didn't soothe, didn't save him from his discomfort. "That's because you didn't look," she said. "Not at me, not at the work. You only saw results and assumed they required less than they did." He inhaled sharply. "Maybe I was too hard on you. Maybe I should have." She raised a hand. "No need to rewrite history. We're here to talk business, not closure." He nodded slowly, as if adjusting to this new version of her was taking more effort than expected. Then came the moment she'd been waiting for. "So," he said cautiously, "what would it take to fix what's broken?" She sat back in her chair, crossing one leg over the other, the gold at her wrist glinting in the sunlight. "My retainer is $10,000 a month," she said, "for full operational restructuring." He blinked. $10,000. She didn't flinch, didn't negotiate with herself, didn't talk fast to justify it. She simply added, "You said things haven't been the same without me. This is the cost of what you lost." The room went very still, then with a defeated sigh, "Okay, send me the contract." She closed her portfolio, expected by end of day. He hesitated, then said softly, "You've changed." She rose from the table, coat draped over her arm. "No," she said, "I stopped shrinking." And she walked out without waiting for him to stand. She was the strategist who set the price. As she walked to her car, her phone buzzed, a client confirming a new project. 24 months ago, a message like that would have made her cry in relief. Now it simply made her smile, because she wasn't hoping anymore. She was earning. She wasn't in this earning. She was on demand. For the next 2 weeks, the contract moved forward quickly. Dawson emailed access credentials, forwarded internal documents, dumped half-finished projects into the shared folder, like a man trying to hide the fact that everything was hanging by a thread. Alana handled every message with cool, professional distance. No emojis, no small talk, no softness. Just business. It didn't take long for the rest of the office to notice who was suddenly in charge of the rebuild. Emails from employees shifted from "Hi Dawson" to "Hi Alana," per your instructions. She didn't brag, didn't announce it, didn't celebrate out loud. She simply built, silently, confidently, expertly. It was the way she always worked, except this time she had ownership. The day she stepped foot back into the building she left behind, the air felt different. Not heavy, not painful, just distant. Like walking through a memory she no longer lived inside. She wore a cream blazer over a satin top, tailored trousers, sharp heels that echoed through the hallway like rhythm and rebirth. Her laptop bag hung at her side, sleek and expensive, a quiet reminder that she bought it with money she earned on her own terms. As she walked past the cubicles, heads popped up one by one. Alana! Oh my God, you look amazing. What are you doing back? Wait, are you consulting now? She smiled politely, nodding, never breaking stride. She wasn't here to reminisce. She wasn't here to belong. She was here to lead. A young woman from HR caught up to her. Is it true? Dawson hired you back? Hired my company. Alana corrected gently. The woman stopped walking, eyes wide, admiration blooming across her face. That's iconic. Alana simply smiled because she knew the old version of her would have been flattered. This version, she expected nothing less. Dawson was already there, standing by the window like a man trying to reclaim authority he no longer possessed. He turned when she entered, and something unspoken shifted in his expression. It wasn't attraction, it wasn't regret, it wasn't longing, it was recognition. For the first time since she'd walked into this company years ago, he finally saw the person she always was. Not support, not background, not the girl who organizes things. A leader. He cleared his throat. Alana, thanks for coming. She placed her laptop on the table, opened it, and said simply, let's begin. He waited a beat, hoping she would sit across from him like the old days. She didn't. She chose the head of the table, and he took a seat on the side. That's when it truly hit him. She wasn't returning to the role she left. She was returning to the role she was meant to have. She pulled up her report. Clean, decisive, brutal inaccuracy. These are the areas that collapsed after my departure, she said. These are the inefficiencies. These are the risks. These are the failures the company can no longer afford. He swallowed hard. She continued. To fix this, I'll need direct access to team leads, vendor logs, internal systems, and decision-making authority over all restructuring tasks. He nodded slowly. Whatever you need. She slid a folder across the table. He opened it. The first line read, Operational Director contracted to Alana Brooks Consulting. He looked up, stunned. You want director-level authority? No, she said, folding her hands. I don't want it. I already operate at that level. Now it needs to be formal. He didn't argue. He couldn't. Not when every issue she listed was a problem that never existed when she was here. Not when the company was depending on her now. Not when he knew she was right. Okay, he said quietly. We'll make the adjustment. When they wrapped up the meeting, he lingered near the door. Alana, he said softly, voice almost fragile, can I ask you something? She paused. What? Why didn't you tell me you wanted more responsibility? She turned slowly, one eyebrow raised, expression calm but sharp. Because I did, she said many times. You just didn't believe in me until you needed me. He opened his mouth, closed it, tried again. I was wrong. She nodded once. I know. He looked at her then like a man confronting a truth he'd never admitted to himself. She didn't leave because she wasn't ready. She left because he wasn't worthy of leading someone like her. He took a small breath. If I could go back? You can't, she cut in gently. And you don't need to. This isn't personal, Dawson. This is business now. He absorbed it quietly, painfully, but respectfully, because the difference between her past and her present was clear now. Before, he had authority over her. Now, he had respect for her and mistakes paper had authority over her. When she stepped out of the conference room and walked toward the elevators, she felt it fully. She wasn't tied to this place anymore. Not emotionally, not financially, not spiritually. She wasn't the overlooked assistant. She wasn't the background noise. She wasn't the maybe one day employee, hoping someone would notice her potential. She was the consultant they couldn't function without. She was the expert. She was the competition. And the moment the elevator doors opened, Dawson watched her walk out, straight-backed, self-assured, exactly who she was meant to be. And he understood. She didn't just leave the old version of herself behind. She outgrew him completely. Within a month, Alana was living a life. She didn't even know she was capable of dreaming. Her mornings started quietly. Jasmine tea steaming gently beside her laptop, sunlight spilling across her desk as she reviewed client dashboards and color-coded workflows. Her afternoons, booked, every hour filled with people who respected her, needed her, valued her expertise. Her evenings held a peace that felt almost sacred, a stillness she never knew when she was rushing through someone else's chaos. Her business was no longer steady, it was thriving. Client referrals multiplied, emails stacked with gratitude. Her calendar, once a symbol of burnout, was now a mosaic of abundance. She wasn't catching up anymore, she was choosing. Every deliverable she sent was forwarded straight to upper leadership. Questions once directed to Dawson started landing in her inbox instead. Can you advise? Can you confirm? Can you approve this change? It was obvious. She wasn't assisting anymore. She was leading from outside the building. And then the email arrived. Subject: request for meeting. Executive team only. Her eyebrows lifted. She opened it slowly. It was from the co herself. We've been reviewing your restructuring contributions and would like to discuss a long-term proposal for Brooks Consulting. Mr. Dawson will not be included. Thursday, 9 a.m., executive conference room. Coup. Not invited. Requested. And without Dawson, Alana confirmed the meeting with the calmness she had earned. The next morning, she stepped into her favorite cafe, a small, quiet place with warm lighting, soft indie music, and the smell of roasted beans and new beginnings. Her laptop bag hung on her shoulder. She stood in line, scrolling through her morning messages. That's when a voice beside her said, "Excuse me, your bag is open." She turned. A tall black man stood there, rich brown skin, clean fade, soft hazel eyes that caught the light. Professional but relaxed, suit slacks, rolled sleeves, watch glinting faintly. He wasn't imposing. He wasn't trying too hard. Just warm. She glanced at her bag. Sure enough, the zipper was half open. "Oh, thank you," she said, zipping it quickly. "Good eye." He smiled, a slow, genuine thing that softened his whole face. "I'm a designer," he said. "Details are kind of my thing." She laughed gently. "I'm a consultant. Details are my thing, too." He nodded, eyes bright with interest. "Sounds like we're in the same business, fixing what other people pretend isn't broken." She smirked. "That's one way to put it." They ordered. He stepped aside to wait for his drink, but kept glancing toward her, not in a nervous way, but in a "I hope she doesn't leave before I speak again" kind of way. When her latte came up, he approached. "I'm Marcus," he said, "brand strategist. I'd love to exchange cards if you're open to it." Normally, the old version of Alana would have tucked her head, laughed awkwardly, thought, "Why me?" But this version, she met his eyes, steady. "I'm open," she said. They exchanged cards, and when she stepped outside, the sun felt a little warmer, the air a little lighter. She didn't know what it meant, didn't have to. Some moments don't require definition, just acknowledgement. Thursday arrived fast. She stepped into Dawson & Co.'s executive floor with her chin lifted and her notes organized in a clean portfolio. She expected formality. What she didn't expect
was respect. Real respect. The co rose when she entered, partners nodded. The CFO smiled politely. No one looked past her. No one rushed through the agenda. No one dismissed her input. Instead, Alana, thank you for coming. We appreciate your work. Your clarity has stabilized us. You've been doing director-level strategy. Her pulse thrummed, not pride, not shock, confirmation. Then the co handed her a folder. We'd like Brooks Consulting to lead our operational overhaul for 12 months, she said. Full authority, full compensation, full credit. What about Dawson? Alana asked quietly. A brief, heavy silence fell. The co answered, he'll be stepping aside. Not demoted, not me assigned. Removed, the Bezik didn't do the job. She did. When they snowed. Not Mimam to sing. She did. When they snowed.
Alana folded her hands. I'll submit revised contract terms, she said. And I'll need complete decision-making authority for operational systems. Agreed, the co replied. And just like that, the company she left had come full circle. They didn't want her back as staff, they wanted her leadership. On her terms. As she walked out of the building, the sunlight washed over her, warm and bright, as if the universe itself was applauding softly. Her phone buzzed. A text. It was nice meeting you, sending good energy your way today. She smiled, the kind of smile that stretches from confidence to curiosity. She didn't need romance, she didn't chase it, but she was open in a soft, steady way she had never been. Between business, growth, contracts, power, there was space for something warm, something light, something new. And she whispered into the air, I'm finally choosing my life. Everything else can choose me back.